played by United Aegis, but I think EG's draft, as many melee as they had against a Timbersaw, it was actually very solid, and they executed well, so it doesn't look like EG are looking to pull any punches here in game number 3. They're just going to start things off with the Draw Ranger. I think that it's still possible we see another Omni, but I think less likely because Shadow Demon is probably one of the better heroes against it. You can Soul Catcher through Magic Immunity, and you obviously get Demonic Purge as a base ability, so you don't have to worry about buying like Diffusal Blades or anything like that. So I don't think we're going to see we're not going to see any Omni shenanigans here in game 3.
Well, if that's going to be the case, we'll see what they get instead, and instead they'll get the Warlock. So a very early pickup, obviously something that we saw early in the series, and it worked out. Did of course have the combination of Universe Void as well, which is still in the pool. I mean, you're picking up the Warlock now. It's very early on, Andy. I mean, Newbee have ways to pick against it. And also, are you then worried if you're Newbee about Universe getting the Void, and do you think that we might see them take it away from them?
Well, it's kind of a trap, right? Because if you ban Void, you still have to worry about Tidehunter. You still have to worry about Batrider. And we saw that in the last time they played Drow, I think Newbee actually prioritized banning Bat over either Tide or Void. So if that's the case, I wonder if Newbee are going to go back to what they did in the previous game and just trust that their ban was the right call and just stick to the Bat, or if they're going to go and try to do something like get rid of the Void. They do have Shadow Demon, and I think that Universe actually didn't have like the best Void game of his life when he was playing in the first game of the series. Doesn't look like Newbee are willing to change too much up. These are actually 4 out of 4 right now of the same heroes that we saw in the first game.
Absolutely nothing to differ at the moment. We'll see if that changes now in this phase of bans. EG, they've seen the SD, they've seen the Luna. I'm trying to think, what else do you feel at just the really strong pick? I mean, Invoker obviously comes to mind. It didn't win them the game before Newbee, but we know that SC can have good performances on it. Do you think EG will just let it through again? I mean, they're banning the Naga. Do you think they're more likely to ban something else?
Yeah, I think they let the Invoker through. They dealt with it pretty handily last time. I think that it was a hard game, obviously, for SC to kind of like take over what we saw the other day, but I don't think that Invoker is the type of hero that's uncounterable. There's a lot of things you can do against him. It's just that a really good Invoker player usually can have that kind of feeling where people get starstruck. But yeah, I think that game also, a lot of things went right for him in the early stages, and as well as he played, it was also a lot due to the fact that his team enabled him to get to where he was. So I'm curious to see if they'll prioritize it. I don't think so. I think they'll probably just let it through.
Of course, that Storm Spirit ban. I think that's totally warranted. They did it in the game 1. They didn't do it in game 2. It certainly was a lot more painful for them when Sumail was able to get his hands on the Storm. So they're not going to allow it to happen in game 3. And as we're talking about this ban from EG, let's see what they are the most afraid of Newbee getting their hands upon. I mean, obviously we talked about to the Void and the Invoker in the mix. I mean, Axe as well. Do you feel there's a team that wants to take the Axe this matchup? I believe that is what Newbee did do after the opening with Shadow Demon in game 1.
I mean, that's also a hero that EG can actually pick, because unlike in the first game, where I believe that Newbee had the first pick out of the second ban phase, EG actually had it this time. Yeah. So if they want to take the Axe themselves, they can. They're going to have a really wide array of choices of whatever hero they're going to give to the Universe, like Bat, Axe, Tide, Void. Like, they're all in the pool. It looks like EG are pretty much sticking to their static second phase bans. They ban the Naga, they ban the Alk again. I think they did it in game 1. I don't think they did it in game 2 because their drafting style was completely different. But yeah, whenever they pick Drow, they pretty much always second phase ban Naga and all. I mean, that could also be leading into a Void pick as well, because Alchemist and Naga are both really annoying to play against when you're Void.
What else do you want to take away from this Drow strat if you're Newbee? I mean, as we're saying, are you worried about those initiators like the Axe and the Void? Or...
I mean, it's really... Yeah, I think they were scared of the initiation before. Because that's when they banned the Bat. It was pretty much at this exact point where they decided to take it out. So, yeah, they're going to get the Void instead.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a fair call, yeah.
I mean, the thing is, though, the Axe is still there, isn't it?
Well, the Axe is there, the Tide's there, the Bat's there. It just depends on how easy you want to... Heck, they could even do Beastmaster and just go for Mass Aura instead. And just have, like, the attack speed and the damage from the Drow. Again, it's just... When you're in the situation and there are so many heroes that Universe can play, it kind of puts Newbee in this very hard spot where they have to decide, okay, what's the worst hero that we have to play against? But then again, you're still only taking away one of many. It's not like you're really changing EG's game plan all that much.
And another one, of course, we know he said in the past he doesn't really like to play it, but Darkseer would be tasty. But there's the one you mentioned, the bat pickup. I mean, with that pickup, are we kind of guaranteed that? I mean, is that going to be universal? Is there a chance Sumail might play the bat in the mid?
It's a chance. I think if EG see an opportunity to where something like a Tide or an Axe would be just devastating, then they could just go ahead and pick it up and put the Sumail bat mid. Because with Drow Aura, Bat Rider's still like he's a fairly alright mid. You know, he's not going to crush his lane, but with Drow Aura, it should be pretty reasonable to put him there. But that's also a strength of the pick as well. Whereas Void, you know, doesn't really do that same thing where you have to think about if a hero is actually going to change hands. Whereas now they kind of do. I mean, it's not like a huge chance, but there's a small one that they can change it up.
Newbee now. Axes there, Invokers there, heroes that they've done with it before. They're actually going to take the Tide for themselves, as you mentioned, just both teams wanting that big initiator, and they'll get the Tide. Immediately though, EG picking up the Vengeful Spirit. A bit of an ode back to the times with PPD, one of his heroes that he'd love to draw for the side. But EG bringing it back here in Game 3. And obviously adding to the auras. You know, you mentioned them maybe wanting to look for something that's going to add to the push in that sense. And also, of course, just kind of stopping for Newbee from any chance of getting it, just in case they were going to look for some more counters to the Bat Rider. But Venge, yeah, are you liking it here?
Yeah, I think it's really strong. The most important thing, like you mentioned, the swap. Obviously, they can still go back for something like Oracle if they wanted again and just go like super defensive. Because then they would have Tide and 2 defensive supports, and initiating on that is an absolute nightmare. Like, it's so damn hard. Even if you're a Bat Rider, but instead they're going to go for the denial pick. I actually like this play a lot. They're probably assuming that, you know, obviously Universe is going to play Bat, and Sumail played Mirana the last time they picked the Drow strat in the first game. So instead of worrying about picking up the secondary support, I'm pretty sure. Well, I guess it still could be roaming Mirana. It still could be a support or mid, but I think more than anything they just wanted to take it away from Sumail.
In terms of options left for Sumail that can kind of work with this Drow lineup. I mean, well, they're actually going to ban out the Invoker. We had talked about this earlier. That they do feel that there's a potential that, as you said, they can run that Mirana in the roaming position as a secondary support. So banning out Invoker from SC. But as you said, the draft for Newbee can go both ways. Mirana could very well be SC's heroes as well. So Newbee now, final ban. You're looking towards Sumail. Well, I mean, I kind of like to see a Sumail Puck. I don't know if it'll happen. I don't know if this is the draft, but something
Puck
that's going to allow
usually like. That was usually the hero, right? Whenever you had the Drow and the Vengeful Spirit. But they're thinking it's going to be more of a farming capacity. I think Death Prophet's also a possibility here for EG. I think it's just an insane amount of push. It's also a safe form of push, whereas you pop the Exorcism and Newbee pretty much has to make the decision like right then and there. It's like, okay, do we fight or do we not fight? Because if you don't fight, you pretty much sack the tower. And I think you kind of want that decisive teamfight hero. But yeah, there's still a few options left. I think Dusa is also a fairly good ban. Because that's an ultra late game hero that wouldn't really care about Shadow Demon and Luna Illusions or anything like that, and it wouldn't allow Newbee to delay the game and be able to gain some kind of advantage. Because if you look at their lineup, it's a lot of defensive heroes, right? Like Tidehunter and Shadow Demon.
Yes.
Those two pretty much are really good at delaying and getting into a later stage in the game, but they need to make sure that they can actually win at that point, because otherwise picking the heroes doesn't make any sense. So,
do you think Newbee could do something similar to Game 1 and get the leaners, the support combo, and obviously have Mirana in the mid?
Oh yeah, obviously. They can definitely do that. And it does look like that's going to be a mid Mirana, so the Bounty Hunter is the last pick up here for the side of Newbee. And, I mean, it's a vision hero. And I think that's something, too, that you always want to look towards when you're playing against stuff like Bat, is you need a hero that's going to give you some kind of information. You know, a lot of times we see, like, Night Stalkers, Slark, safe lane pick because of night vision. Luna also grants night vision, but Slark obviously can dispel the lasso. Those are usually the heroes that you see to counter it. But Bounty Hunter functions in a similar fashion, so it's definitely a solid pick.
One of the heroes that's kind of been forgotten this series, Morphling. I mean, is there any way that EG could slip that into their lineup? Or is it
Morph? I guess they could like do dual lanes if they wanted to pick Morph, and dual lanes would kind of make it hard for the Bounty to do anything in the early game. I mean, it's always possible, but I think it's pretty low likelihood.
Well, let's see EG.
Just don't pick Impugna. We've seen how that goes. that
Sumail
ain't
Pugna,
great.
let's do it. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, I still like I like DP, but I don't know if they're gonna pick it.
I guess DP is one of those heroes that... Is it kind of hard for a bounty to gank? Because as soon as he reveals, you just kind of siphon and walk off?
I think you could probably kill a DP in this game if the supports are out of position. But,
yeah.
I mean, Zion and Crit have been playing very well this series, so I would expect it to be fairly safe. But they're thinking about it, so we'll see what happens.
That's the puck.
It is the puck.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. I said I wanted to see it. We're going to get it. The puck in itself, and it's actually going to be Arteezy. Is it going to be Arteezy Bat or is it going to be Arteezy Bat? I mean, it's Samael at the moment on the Drow Ranger. And it is going to be Arteezy Puck. Artor Puck. All right. Unless they do swap it up.
I mean, he still does have that video on his Twitch, right? The one where
they swapped it. They swapped it. They swapped it. We're not getting Arteezy Puck. I would have loved to see that, but no, it's Samael Puck. I was going to say.
Yeah, they're going for the more aggressive option. DP would have been more like siege-oriented in teamfight. This is the I want a lot of catch, and I'm going to just kill you, basically, and then push towers, which is still obviously very good.
Alright, well, here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Game 3 between Evil Geniuses and Newbee. We'll see if they're able to pull it through here, EG, and get themselves the clean sweep, or if Newbee can turn it around. I mean, in terms of draft, overall, have Newbee got a better shot on paper than they had in the first 2 games with this lineup, or do you feel that there's not really that much difference in the picks, it's just all going to be down to the play?
I mean, a majority of it's going to be down to the play, no question. I think that Newbee are going to be a bit pressured. Like, this Bounty Hunter has to do a lot. I think whenever you have Bounty on your team, his early game is going to be really important, especially when you're playing against a lineup of EG where you know they're going to be pressuring towers, and you know they're going to be pushing. The timing of EG's lineup is very fast, so quick tempo on the side of EG, whereas Newbee want to play a more slow, methodical game. But they also have fairly good team fight as well. I think this one's going to be... it's going to be a tough one, I think, though, for Newbee.
And it will, of course, be interesting to see in the early stages how much this bounty Kaka's able to do across the map, because obviously with that puck pickup from Samael, that's a very hard area to gank unless he's out of position with using the orb aggressively. And obviously looking elsewhere, the tri-lane, that's going to be kind of hard to break. And so they can punch back hard. Here we have it. As the bell tolls, Newbee will have to secure themselves top room. Bottom room will be secured by Samael. No problem whatsoever. So yeah, laning stage. Who's going to have the easiest time in the laning stage, you feel?
Oh, EG.
Yeah.
I think that
yeah.
It's not even a question. Like, Kaka has to apply a lot of pressure. If he can get a courier snipe, that would be ideal. Try to win at least one lane for his team. But a Drow Ranger or a Puck is so hard to lane against. Like, you get so much damage. Like, he hits for almost 70. Mirana's base damage is 55. Like, that's a massive difference at low level. And you can see that Kaka wants to prioritize, like, trying to help this lane. And he is going to get the courier. So that's a really good start.
Oh. Absolutely. Great start.
He even needs an arrow.
Yeah, they have got the backup of Zai. And Zai, bit of a misplay, but he heals himself whilst on full health. Maybe hoping to heal Samael there. But, alright, Zai, we'll pretend we didn't see that.
He might be using... Actually, no, you wouldn't do that with Quick Cast. Never mind. I don't know, that was weird. It's not the first time we've seen a misfire from a heal on Zai. He did it in the game where he was playing Omni as well.
And there we go, that was the second heal. He does end up giving the way of Samael. Up top, Kaka's moved up here to have some eyes on Universe. Universe trying to play it careful. Now they're trying to have a bit of a go for it. E9 coming forward as well. He's looking for the body blocks. Kaka with some excellent movements here, blocking up Universe. Universe, he can't seem to get himself out of it, falling incredibly low. 4 stacks. Is it going to be enough with the 5th one? It is. Faith will find it. Great play for Newbee, and Kaka doing it across the map there, and some fantastic body blocking action from the Bounty Hunter.
That was a really nice poison as well. I thought that he was just going to do it at 4, because I think he had like 200 and some odd health left. It would have been really close if it actually killed him or not, and Universe full well knowing that just tries to pop the salve to get enough time, but he just eats the 5th poison. Very nicely coordinated there from Newbee. And this is the start they need. Like, this is perfect. Kill the courier, get first blood.
It really isn't. Well, Universe tempted to go in a bit on U9. He's got a fair few stacks up. Kaka there to give him a quick tap and force him to back away from the Luna. The mid lane matchup, Samael 12 for 5 up against the 8 for 1 of SCCC. I mean, we've seen this pretty much in all 3 games. Samael He just seems to have the better time at the start, just in terms of 1v1 skill, and manages to come out top in CS.
He's had 2 favorable matchups.
Yeah.
So,
okay. In terms
like
of
this
heroes.
one is definitely his favor, and the last one was also, I think, his favor. I mean, I haven't played much Timber versus Storm, but I can't imagine Storm has too hard of a time in that lane. So I think a lot of it is the matchup itself, especially in this game. This is the most lopsided one, I feel.
Under the moment, a comparison between RTZ and Unai. And obviously, Unai got involved in the kill up top, but RTZ ahead. In farm, having the slightly easier lane. Not a lot the KP could do to harass this Drow out of lane. As you said, they've got that strong potential down there with the Venge and with the Warlock back up top lane. Again, Universe being caught on a little bit. He's a little bit safer now. Obviously, we saw him get taken down, but he was level 1 at that time. Now he's got the Firefly. Just a little bit harder for Newbee to catch out and bring out.
I mean, committing these 3 heroes to top lane and, you know, not really getting a kill. Getting the first one was great, but if they don't make anything happen after the fact, it's kind of hard to justify, you know, Kaka sitting around here for too much longer. I mean, they want to try to apply pressure to the tower, but they've already sent Zai up here. And with him here, I don't think they can kill Universe either. So it's still, again, the emphasis is on Newbee getting a lot accomplished here in the early game, because if you look at the farm, like, Artur and Sumail are going to pull ahead, there's no questions. And even if you're keeping Universe down, he's obviously going to be able to farm the jungle at some point, and he's already level 3.
And bottom lane, we saw a fair bit of punching onto KP. He's got a south, so be alright, but we are seeing that the 2 of them, the Venge and the Drow, have a lot of damage and chance to take a kill if that tide's out of position. SC will secure himself the rune. Kaka came across towards the mid to get a little bit of XP, but still, yeah, lagging behind. Bottom lane again, KP being forced back, and he's down to just a Fairy Fire now, so he'll have to make the long walk back to base. So more and more space for RTZ on the Drow Ranger as the CS gets better and better. And mid lane, Zai's headed over. At the same time, Kaka, he's looking for the courier snipe, and he made. Ooh. They're playing it safe. The pings come out. EG not to fall foul for it again. In fact, they found him. They haven't got any way of cancelling that TP though. Puck, just under 100 XP away from having Dream Coil. Didn't quite have the ult, but nonetheless, they keep that courier alive. Absolutely crucial there. It did look like Kaka was on the verge of taking it down again.
Yeah, I think he needs 1 Janata and 2 autos. It would have been close. If they had the speed boost, that might not have died either way. But yeah, it's really nice that they managed to keep it alive. And you know, SC is actually doing a fairly good job. I think a lot of that's attributed to the fact that, you know, Kaka's been hanging around mid a little bit and getting the courier snipe. Normally this lane you would see Sumail probably even further ahead than he is right now. But just the roaming pressure that Newbee are able to apply is helping him out quite a bit.
SC tries for an arrow. I'll take the range creep. Bottom lane, Kaka coming down. And we've got the 3-man down here on both sides. Universe has actually come down to join the forces of Crit and RTZ. As Uni at the moment probably going to look to try and clear up some of the camps. And indeed, Sumail goes in first, uses the Dream Coil with the backup of Zai. And they will find the kill on the mid lane, but well on the bottom lane. Newbee's come in under the cover of Moonlight Shadow. They'll take down Artur. Universe trying to see if he gets something in return. A lot of stacks up onto Faith. They'll find the Shadow Demon kill. Not be able to get anything else there. So a 2-for-1 trade across the map. RTZ going down, but obviously in return, EG find that kill onto SC on the mid lane.
Yeah, favorable for EG, no doubt. I think that, Newbee have such a... It feels like it's such a hard game for them already, just because of how difficult it is for them to actually get farm in their lanes. Like, the Mirana was losing a little bit, just has a death now. The push that's from EG is going to be coming very, very fast, and you can see the rotations coming out from Newbee. They know that they can't just let the lanes sit the way that they are. They've already used Moonlight Shadow. SC does have an invis though. See if they can make something happen here.
Kaka's got eyes on Crit. SC's been brought down here, and yet the arrow's going to connect. Crit in a lot of trouble. The rest of EG just simply going to bail. They've got to let him go. Newbee take down the Vengeful Spirit. RTZ just focusing on the farm back in the lane. But as you mentioned, Newbee just desperate to keep these rotations going. Continue to try and find these pickoffs to break apart the successful start EG's had in the lanes.
I think for maybe not the third game, but definitely 2 out of 3 games, I always see that the supports of EG are consistently getting like more out of the laning phase than what Newbee are able to. And I'm not sure if that's just because of a playstyle thing. You know, a lot of times you'll see an underleveled bounty hunter until 10 minutes when you can buy that Tome of Knowledge, but I think just that alone is kind of what makes the Warlock pick work for them. Because if you look at Zai, he's really just hanging around top. You know, he's not trying to go for any ganks. He's just soaking EXP. Whereas Universe is farming the jungle because they just have that potential and that capability to be more efficient during the stage. So even if somebody's not farming, somebody else is always getting something. As Eclipse is going to be popped here by U9 in top lane, and Zai just jukes it out completely. Alright, that's...
What?
I'm actually glad that you probably didn't catch that.
I did not catch that. I mean, for U9's sake. What?
Let's just say it wasn't great.
Alright.
He popped Eclipse, and then Zai just walked into the trees and took 0 damage. Like, that was it. That's all it was.
Okay. Oh, a bit of a weird one there from the Luna. Top lane, SC's going to come in. This is going to allow mid lane to have a bit of pressure put on Universe and Samel. Trying for the tower. Bottom lane, RTC's having to hide it. Crit's hiding in the tree line. As just a little bit worried about the whereabouts of Newbee supports. And Kaka's going to reveal himself towards mid. As they're ready to go in. Hanging around, there's the setup. Big TP's coming through as well. Newbee wanting to try and make a bit of a go onto Universe. He's going to get himself out with the Firefly. Samel drops the Dream Coil to make sure that Newbee can't chase it down. Universe a fair few stacks up on him. It should be fine. We'll back away. See, dropping the arrow onto Samel. Samel, long mana. He's not going to be able to make a go on that. So just a bit of a skirmish, but no one going down in that mid lane.
That was a little weird exchange. And I think that, again, showcases one of Newbee's problems is, you know, without the use of Ravage, they have a very hard time getting kills. I mean, I guess Faith wasn't 6. Maybe if he had Demonic Purge, that would have been a kill. Should have allowed him to land at least one more poison, and obviously you get that 200 bonus damage too, so... Maybe just unfortunate timing more than anything else, and they're going to go for another play here.
Faith with the smoke up. Nice towards the bottom. Crits on his own hit. And Faith looks to come in. He'll get the setup for this. SC throws the arrow out. He's not going to whiff that. Jumps in. Newbee burst him out. And Crit, a free kill hit for the side of Newbee. Samel does have his Blink Dagger now complete though, so we can start to expect to see Samel being a little bit more active around the map and reacting to those kind of plays. But for the time being, Newbee still getting away with these pickoffs and leading the way 4 for 2. But as you said, farm-wise, it's still looking great for EG.
I think the first showcase of the Ravage in an actual team fight will be what really dictates if Newbee are going to be able to stay in this game too much longer. Because right now, it's like, you can see how frantic they are moving around the map. They're always trying to do something, whereas, you know, EG are kind of just calmly, we're going to farm this lane, we're going to push here. Our supports are soaking the proper amounts of experience. You know, Zai's already level 6, Crit's going to be level 6 soon. They almost have everything that they need, and they are going to get the safe lane and trade away from Newbee, so they did lose their own tier 1, but... Yeah, I'm still kind of just waiting. I mean, sure, you have Track, obviously, coming out soon from Kaka. He's a little bit away from 6 once the Toma knowledge actually gets to him. And when that happens, it'll be very, very helpful, because every kill will mean so much more. But for now, I still feel like EG hold the advantage.
And EG with the smoke. They're going to see if they can get someone, catch someone out here as they move across, but the Dive's scanned it out. They know what's going on. Samel. She gets gone on here. Demonic Purge as well. The backup is coming in from EG. Chaotic Offering actually going to be dropped onto KP, who tried to go in for Crit. The Eclipse comes in. KP now with the Ravage, hitting them all, but he's got to back off. He's incredibly low, but already EG have lost 2. U9 continues to try and fight, but EG now turn around. They'll beat down the Luna. They also managed to finish off KP, so even though Newbee were quick to find 2 kills, the turnaround's there from EG, finding 2 in return. And the favourable trade as well for the side of Evil Geniuses, so they take down 2 cores, including U9's Luna.
Yeah, that was Eclipse and Ravage used as well, so... Or even Moonlight, so that was literally all of their ultimates. The unfortunate part was Kaka wasn't actually level 6 when the team fight kicked off, so... Because of that fact, I don't think they got any track kills there. But interesting to note that Sumail, when he orbed, he actually orbed behind the tier 1 before it died into 3 heroes. And I don't know if that was intentional or not, but he pretty much suicided. He did coil 3 though, which might have resulted in obviously U9 dying because he was kind of isolated on his own and the Ravage had already been expended. So all in all, still a slight gain there from EG. Maybe not as clean as they wanted it to be, but they did get their objective.
Yeah, we can see at the moment it's obviously very early days in net worth difference, but EG, with that, will start to get the swing going their way. And we have just got the short pause at the moment. RTZ is out the game momentarily. Hopefully he'll be back in time. to join the rest of his team. On the verge of potentially winning the LAN here at MDL. And he is back, he's ready. We'll be able to get this game 3 back underway. But yeah, U9 turning up to the fight like that as well. He had a big impact at the start, but they've got to try and keep this Luna alive towards the end. As we saw, you know, they lose the Luna, and suddenly the momentum is in EG's hand.
Yeah, the fight was just very disjointed from both sides. The Ravage from KP was great. It was just a matter of there not really being any follow-up after the fact, because Sumail was on the back line being disruptive, and he did trade his own life for it, but I guess in the grand scheme of things, it still ended up being okay. Looks like he's going to be going the path of Veil as well, so they are going for a very aggressive style of itemization, and I assume that just means they want to get, you know, all these towers off the map as soon as they can. They know Ravage is down for at least another minute.
Artur kind of standing there, casually sidesteps off the arrow that was near to connecting, and EG are there on the back up, and they've actually smoked up. They're going to look for a bit of a smart wraparound here. Sumail, Universe Zai, ready to go. Sumail's got the Dream Coil.
Luna's showing top. No TP available either.
This is a great time for Sumail if he can find a good jump here. He's eyeing them up. Magic Missile onto KP. Sumail jumps in onto the 2 on the backlines. The Dream Coil, the silence hits both. SG's going to lead back. The stun will connect onto him. Faith caught out by the damage. He'll disrupt himself, but he's still going to go down. In the side of it all, Crit playing with KP in the tree line. Now U9 TP's down. Looking to turn this. In fact, it's EG losing 2. Kaka's got the track onto Sumail. Sumail getting gushed to the face. They'll only just TP RTZ out in time. But Newbee able to get themselves in position just as the moment calls for it. The TP down for the Luna, allowing them to turn it around. Of what looked to be a smart play from EG, but Newbee this time, they're a step ahead. And Zai, he spotted out Karka, but Karka, he's going to follow him. KP's around, a little bit low on the old health, and it looks like Zai will be able to walk this off. But a nice fight for Newbee there, getting U9 stuck in, and just a bit of a mess up from EG.
Yeah, I feel like Sumail especially kind of flubbed that one. I don't think... Okay, so he blinks in, and normally what you want to do is you just want to silence coil right away, so that way heroes like Mirana can't just get the leap off and gain distance. But the problem was, they got too far away too fast, and then he threw the coil anyway. Universe goes, dives into a tier 2, gets purged, and then he can't even get his lasso because he doesn't have blink yet. And then he ends up dying. And then you have this really disjointed fight where the Luna's TP was on cooldown, it just came up during the middle of the fight, and then you don't have Golem either. So there was no chaotic offering, and EG... some pretty sloppy execution, to be honest, with that team fight. I think they should have been able to win that.
Kaka trying to lead the way here. EG are aware of this though. Just put one of them out on the sentry. The rest of them are actually smoked up, so that could catch them off guard. Gust onto 2 Universe, popping the drums, thinking about trying to go in for a lasso, but Faith with the demonic purge holds back to the Eclipse. Coming out from U9, chaotic offering will be dropped, but it would quickly just be taken down here by the side of Newbee. They get a free kill, they get a free golem. KP comes in with a Ravage onto Artur. It's a 4-man Dream Coil, but EG, they just got to use this to run. They've got nothing to follow it up with. They end up losing Crit as well. And Newbee, they're trying to chase in for more. The gush from KP takes down RTZ. Sumail jumps back in, trying to play around with them. U9's low, but Zai and Sumail, can they actually find a kill in return of this? They've just got to run back off, hide behind the tier 2s. And Newbee coming in hard, taking 3. And again, it's EG dropping this ults, but it doesn't matter. They just haven't got the wombo there at the right time to deal with Newbee running at them at this stage.
Yeah, everyone's kind of on a different page, it seems. Like, Zai is dropping golems that pretty much just die. I think he wanted Sumail to coil there or something like that, but there's a really big breakdown in communication right now on EG, and they need to kind of, you know, fix that if they want to win this game, because you can't just be giving away kills to a team with track, right? So Kaka's been throwing out tracks on tracks, and every single one of these team fights that they lose, even if they don't get an objective, Newbee are still getting a tremendous amount of gold and experience out of these fights, and that's almost going to be the completed mech here from KP now. It's looking a little bit shaky for EG at the moment. You know, they're supposed to be a very objective-driven lineup, and that they're not getting really anything. Like, Newbee are not budging.
Absolutely, and 12-5 at the moment. Newbee definitely looking in the best position they have so far in the games this series. Kaka scouting it all out at the moment. He's going to be spotted, though. They've got the dust. Quick reactions in Kaka. Yeah, he'll pay for his position. And we'll drop a ward on the way down. Now it's actually going to be pinged out. EG are aware. So Kaka there with a bit of a panic play, and it's going to hurt them. EG find the pick off and get themselves in position. This time they'll try taking down the tier 1 by looks of it before fighting behind a tier 2.
I mean, I understand why they took that fight.
Yeah.
They just didn't execute it the way they needed to. But yeah, there should be more or less... It might get denied, but yeah, Faith coming forward here.
With the 4, KP has got Ravage, 20 seconds. And yeah, looks like that's going to be enough to kind of hold EG back. They'll group up, moving in. RTZ, he'll get it. Looks like there's not going to be any chance for a deny. But Newbee are teeping in for the men. They maybe want to try and find a fight with that Ravage that's now back and available. 5 seconds for KP. There's the Moonlight looking to set something up, but Crit already teeping out. Artur heading back as well. They had this ward down. They saw what was going on. Actually in the mid lane, Crit and Samael, with the use of the Dream Coil, able to find the kill onto SCCC, whilst the rest of Newbee were looking for action down bottom. So making use of the fact that they knew that Newbee were all down here and that SCCC was on his own.
Yeah, I'm a little bit puzzled, actually, and I think a lot of it is because of that misplacement of the ward. The one by the river, near the rune spot, that ward pretty much doesn't see anything. Like, I think he meant to put it a little bit farther to the left, but regardless, it's like, he made that rotation. I thought he was scouted by the ward, but apparently he wasn't. And he tried to go for the insta-TP after Coil, which didn't work because Crit's TP came in time. And then he just ends up dying for it. So, a nice pick off there from the side of EG, very much needed, given the way the game had been going for the last couple of minutes. But yeah, they still have some work to do, I think, to really put themselves back into a comfortable position. It's going to help a lot once Universe picks up his Blink here in about a second or two. And off the back of that, hopefully he can actually get a lasso, because he's actually been struggling. Like, not just this game, but it feels like this whole series has been having a hard time.
At the moment at the bottom, Kaka eyes onto Samael. They've got KP. KP does have a Ravage, but yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky one to try and go for, just with the two of them, and obviously wanting to save the Ravage for a bigger occasion. As EG, again, grouping up as 5. We'll see if they go for some kind of objective-based play, try and get a tier 2 or such. Roshan is up. Both teams, I mean, one's got the Luna, one's got the Drow. They've got decent potential at taking it, but I guess both sides would want to find a kill before committing to Roche at this stage, early on.
Yeah, it's super dangerous fighting around the pit for both teams. Like, Ravage and Eclipse on one side, then you have, like, Bat with Blink and Warlock Golem and Coil on the other. It's terrifying, I think. Vision-wise, I actually would imagine that the team with the Bat during daytime might have a bit of an advantage, because they can get the vision, but then you also have to account for tracks, so it's tough, actually, for both teams right now.
Well, they had that smoke, EG, but now wearing off. Unable to find any kind of action with it. Do get that ward down, of course. Pretty deep, and yeah, some good warding here from the side of EG, all around to kind of walk towards this mid lane and towards the Roche pit. So they'll see if Newbee do sweep back around. And now it's just a case of backing up, continuing the farm at the moment. It's very close. EG with the slight edge with their 2 cores. Overall, I mean, it's just 500 gold difference in it. It's incredibly close at this stage of the game. Each team needing a kind of a big team fight to set them apart from their opponent at this stage. And both teams, they've definitely got the tools to kick it off in terms of a 5v5.
Yeah, that's why this game is so much dependent on the execution. Well, gotta dodge the arrow here.
He jumps up. There's the Dream Coil, dropped onto 2. Hasn't got any backup at the time being. Kaka actually getting the track onto Samael as Newbee come across under the cover of Moonlight Shadow. And Samael just gets himself back to the safety of his team. And it's not quite the jumper they want to go for, but of course he had that arcane out, so Dream Coil will be back up in 30 seconds. So not too long of a wait for that one. And Newbee immediately smoking. They want to try and do something with this time. AP wrapping around from behind. They have this ward here as well, so they'll see EG if they come back into this position. But EG keeping it smart, giving themselves their own jungle the other side of the tier 1. It's going to be one to lead forward. Actually gets the swap onto Kaka. Reversing if he can find an opening, but they've got to be careful. KP walking into the middle of it all. He does have that Ravage available. The Chaotic Offering's going to be dropped. Samael comes in with the silence. There's your Ravage. Samael in the midst of it all gets blown up. Samael's out of the fight. The Golem's going to quickly die as well to the Eclipse. As Newbee find themselves one. Can they get themselves anything more? KP moving in with the Gush onto RTZ. Zai caught on the front of it. Kaka, Faith, and SE focusing him down. The mech will be popped. It's not going to be enough to save Zai. Newbee moving in for more potentially. With the setup, disruption onto Artur. U9 trying to close the gap on the Drow Ranger. KP hits the Gush. That is going to be it for now. They'll get the tier 1. Again, a very nice fight for Newbee. KP getting himself stuck in the middle with a big Ravage. And we're just seeing, I mean, it just feels like this game Zai's golems just do absolutely nothing in the fight. They just get eaten up by the damage of Newbee.
We haven't actually seen the combo though. Like, we've never seen a golem and a coil. It's always one or the other. So instead of it being like when they dropped that chrono into golem before in the first game and it seemed like really devastating, we're just not having that synergy because Sumail popped a coil that didn't do anything, and then by the time his coil was back up, he was already dead. So I think there's a lot of misplays going on from EG. I'm not sure what it is. It does not feel like they're playing their full potential Dota right now.
I don't know if it was something about the break, but they're losing a little bit of the mojo that they had in game 1 and 2. They've still got the potential to bring it back, of course. It's just one bad fight, but they really can't afford to lose multiple more, as Kaka, of course, with that track, will allow Newbee to climb ahead with each of these engagements. Kind of eyes around, guarding the Roshan pit at the moment, EG. In terms of going for it, they know that there's no Ravage, there's no Eclipse, so now would be a good time, really, for them to fight. They don't have Chaotic Offering, but they've got everything else on the side of EG. RTZ on the front at the moment. Universe has the Blink Lasso at the ready. And Newbee keeping back. Moonlight Shadow's going to be popped, and Sumail heading back with the rest of the team as Newbee, they'll stick together, and EG just unable to find an opening to jump on them.
I think they're feeling a bit squeamish after the last couple of fights. They just haven't been going well. They need to make sure that they land all of their abilities in conjunction to get a kill, because if they don't, there's like Tidehunter mech, there's Ravage, there's Shadow Demon Disruption. Like, there's multiple ways to save. So you need to make sure that you're like killing that hero instantly. Like, you just need to take him out and then move on to the next target.
EG looking to utilize some of the power of this draft and get some pressure onto the tier 2. Instantly Sumail tracked up. Universe is in the tree line, going to see if he can try and get himself a potential pick. Tides at the front, not really the hero that Universe wants to go for. But Newbee's positioning just on point as they keep the rest of them behind. KP the only one to come forward. Tower not quite yet to go down. There's KP! Oh, jumps in with a 3-man Ravage. RTZ immediately burst it down. And now EG, they've got to be careful how they take it this time. The coil, the golem, the combo's there this time. They hit it, Sumail and Zaidu, but U9 still there. And with the Eclipse available, coming in, they're still looking to take the fight. Newbee, they may have lost 2, but they're looking to show off their power here. KP jumps forward, has the vision onto Universe. U9 and KP chasing down the bat into the tree line. They should be able to clean this one up as well, and they do. Double kill for U9, but it looks like EG aren't done. Sumail's come in, gets the silence onto KP and U9. Can they play around with this? Zai and Sumail. It's a 2v2. Zai and Sumail against KP and U9. KP in the trees. It's a 3-for-3 trade at the moment. Sumail just a little off point there with the orb, but he's got the Yules set up onto KP. Actually missing the silence there. And so KP's going to be allowed to walk off, and now they've got to be careful. Kaka's come into lane. Get the track out. They have got the sentry down, EG, so it looks like Bounty won't chase. So the fight ends, and I believe it was just a 3-for-3 at the end of that. I'll have a look at the gold gain, but of course with the track gold being thrown into the fray, there's still kind of a fight that only just benefits EG. I mean, that's them fighting from behind. It's a 200 advance there, but because of the track gold, just kind of keeping Newbee very, very close, even in engagements where EG should be feeling that they're in the better position because they've won an equal fight when they were behind, but track gold nullifies that.
Yeah, I mean, the fight started off really well because I don't think EG knew that the Blink had been delivered to the Tidehunter, so he gets the free reveal of the Blink and gets a 3 or 4-man Ravage. And RTZ dies, he pops instantly, and then after that point, the Drow Aura is a huge chunk of damage on this team gone, because this is 5 range, right? So if your Drow's dead, everybody on the team loses 57 damage. That is a huge, huge chunk of DPS that's just taken away instantly. So all things considered, I'd say EG mitigated that pretty well.
Crit. Ooh, he's come across for a bit of warding, but Kaka had his eyes on him. Tracks out. KP's going to start to play with him. EG is coming across, but I don't think they're going to be able to save the Venge. The Venge is down. Universe still wanting to try something here. Coming in. And immediately the Moonlight's popped. And Newbee, they are in the favourable position, so EG just have to back themselves out of there and just accept the fate of Crit.
And Newbee have been doing such a good job at coordinating their fights this game. Seems like a revitalized team. I don't know what happened between the break, but it seems like the shoe's kind of on the other foot here for game number 3. Newbee seem to have a pretty clear idea of what they need to do. And EG, like, they know what they need to do, they're just not quite clicking yet. I guess the bottom fight that we just saw was probably the best showcase of their potential so far in this game, but they got a long road ahead of them if they want to really take this away from Newbee and go 3-0.
And at this point, I mean, Newbee, I wonder if they get, you know, the power to go for Roshan soon. They've got Ravage and Eclipse back up. They can fight very well around the pit. I guess the same could be said still for EG as Dream Coil and Chaotic Offering are at the ready once again. But yeah, this game certainly all about the team fights, as you've been saying from the start since the draft. And at the moment, Newbee just with the slightly few more advantages off the back of it. 18-10 at the moment. EG, as we saw there, I mean, we did see that fight down bottom. When they do hit the Dream Coil Chaotic Offering, it does a hell of a lot. They've just got to make sure that they land that combo before Newbee gets in there, before KP's in the midst of them all, causing them to scatter and just throw out their ults willy-nilly. They've got to hit the timings together.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate it took them that long to do it once. Like, the entire game, I didn't really feel like they had really synced up properly. And, you know, for now, I still think that EG have an alright shot. I just think that, oh, okay, you're dead.
Okay. A lot of hate down there for Samael. KP just jumping in, no mess, and hits the Ravage. The rest of EG are out.
I think they just want to do Rosh off that, yeah. SC pings it out. They're going to walk to the pit. I mean, their team, that's not amazing for killing Roshan, but it's, you know, when the coil is down, you don't really care. You just go to the pit and just kill it. And BKB is going to be done here on this Luna as well. A little bit after the Rosh, most likely. And that puts EG in a really awkward spot. Because Sumail is like their big, hard-hitting initiation hero, and it's well worth using a Ravage on a solo kill like that if it secures you a larger objective. So Newbee, once again, putting themselves in the driver's seat getting the entry.
There we have it. Aegis into the hands of U9, a man that's also only 200 gold away from having the BKB complete as well. And I mean, picking up a BKB against EG's lineup is going to make it a lot harder, of course, for Samael. I mean, even for Xayah such in these fights, and you know, Luna's going to be able to have free reign, locking down, chasing whoever he wants, and eliminating them fairly swiftly with the amount of damage that he's doing at this stage. EG, they need a game plan, and at the moment it just seems that Newbees is stronger. They're leading up to about 7.5k lead. I mean, in the series, the first two games, you know, it's very close, kind of up until the late game point. And this one, Newbee is certainly the ones with the edge. As EG grouped up towards the top. Again, both teams, everything apart from the Ravage available for Newbee. But EG will be fighting into an Aegis, and already, yeah, they're backing up. They do not want to mess with Newbee at this stage.
Just trying to get whatever map pressure they can. I mean, it's tough for EG right now. They don't really have much vision. You can see the aggressive warding coming out from Newbee. They have almost full vision of EG's side of the map at this point, and most of those wards are fresh. So unless they get dewarded, they're going to be able to read EG's movements fairly well. And at this point, it's kind of like Newbee need to make a mistake, because they've gotten so many free fights just based on the synergy of EG not being there, that they have so much farm on their cores, like Manta, BKB with the Dragon Lance and the Helm of the Dominator. U9's got an Aegis. He's also got an additional 1,800 gold in his inventory.
Let's see, jumping for some out. To play around a bit with S-Triple-C. The Dagon, it's a fair bit of burst, not quite enough. And, meanwhile, at the top, Newbee find themselves that tier 1. EG looking to put pressure on the tier 2 in the mid lane as well. But again, as soon as any sign of Newbee reacting comes through, EG just have to back off, avoid the fights for the time being, until they're really sure that they can find just a perfect way to take them, and that they can get the initiation, because pretty much kind of, you know, 8 out of 10 times it's been Newbee getting the jump, and that's kind of what's really hurt EG's lineup.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Oh,
Xayah. They're dropping the Eclipse for this, no messing, as U9 and Kaka find themselves the pick-off. And that, you know, that's 50 seconds that you've not got to worry about this golem being dropped on your head. So Newbee gets straight on with the push. Tier 2's going down at the same time. EG, maybe seeing if they can pressure Newbee to react. They have got the push down bottom. There'll be one TP back from KP. Fortification coming out as well from the side of Newbee, but the rest of Newbee just standing strong in the mid lane, hitting onto the tier 3 at the moment. Now the TP backs come out from EG, and they'll try and do their best to slow down this push.
Man, I don't know what they're supposed to do without Golem. I mean, I guess Newbee aren't feeling like they want to push anything too crazy. They did already send KP back, so I guess that'll be the end of it. But yeah, E-Blade now picked up on SC. Everything's still looking great for Newbee here. Looks like they're gonna potentially be keeping their MDL tournament life alive.
Absolutely doing everything they can to bring this one back. Newbee. EG still with a chance, but as time ticks on, it gets harder and harder. And there's going to be a smoke from Newbee, so Newbee not looking to let this get any easier for EG. They've still got about a minute and a half left on this Aegis, and they want to try and utilize it in one more fight. Evil Geniuses, four of them back towards the base. Artis is on his way to join the boys as well. So if they want to try and fight this, they're potentially looking for KP to have to jump up to the high ground and go for a big ravage. And you see how it kicks off here. Unite ready to start the lead. Somehow tracked up, immediately blinks out. And the tier 3 starts to melt. There's the jump in though. Universe gets the lasso onto Unite, but Unite's got the Aegis, and what? A Universe is straight out of there. KP comes in with a 3-man ravage. Crit on his way back, but KP's on the chase down, slides forward, slaps him down with an anchor smash, and 2 dead on EG. Newbee have the racks opened up. The golem will be dropped. They actually find a kill with it though. They're chasing down KP. They'll get the Tidehunter. Looking towards Kaka. There's a 3-man Dream Coil from Samel with a Dagon. They bursted down in a second. They need more. The Gust onto Unite. They might just be able to do it. Aegis is still there, but it's going to be very close to expiring. Unite just does his best to get the damage out, and they have killed Samel. He's down for 70 seconds, and Unite is back up. EG again trying their best. They do find the kills, but at the end of the day, they still lose the melee racks. And Newbee still coming out on top in terms of numbers.
What happened to EG between game 2 and 3? Because Universe just blinked in, lassoed, and then force-staffed himself into the enemy team. Like, that is just something that you don't see. Like, nobody does that. At least not at this level of Dota. So I don't know what's going on, dude. I feel like we're not actually watching. This is like some doppelganger EG with the amount of misplays that I've seen this game.
Look at that. I mean, just look at that lead now. Over 15,000 going the way of Newbee. It's going to be a massive climb for EG to bring themselves back into this game. As Newbee just seemed to have it all figured out. I mean, just off the start, you know, Kaka, he was doing bounty hunting. He was there every place that he needed to be in. And then just those early fights where EG couldn't hit the Dream Coil into the Chaotic. And Newbee were able to come in. KP, of course, been having a great game. Each and every time, the Ravage is being absolutely perfect. And U9, of course, as we can see, top of the net worth, a clear, pretty much 4K above anyone else in this game. This Luna incredibly fat and farmed at 34 minutes in.
Yeah, I guess that EG can still potentially set up a good fight if they get a lasso target and they're able to burst it down, but that's pretty much the only way. And it's so difficult against heroes like Tide because if you lasso, for example, and you pull somebody out, KP has Blink and Force himself, so he can always cover the distance between, you know, the lasso target and the rest of your team. So you can always get in and get a counter Ravage. He's even going for Refresher now because he's got 1 Perseverance and he's got plenty of mana to throw out the full combo. That hero is extremely good against Bat because you can never actually lasso him either. If you lasso the Tide, he just Krakens and he ravages your team regardless. And there's not really a whole lot of magic immunity on the side of EG right now. In fact, they do not have a single BKB. So against that kind of like AoE teamfight potential that the Tidehunter's bringing right now, in addition to the damage output that Newbee have because they have such a lead, it's... I don't want to say it's impossible to take a 5-man, but it's pretty damn hard.
I mean, do EG need to go out and fight, or can they wait for Newbee to come to them?
I actually think they need to split push for now.
Yeah.
Like, they have 2 heroes that are fairly mobile on the Bat and the Puck, and they can try to split up the map as best they can. The issue is, at this stage in the game, everybody has a ton of farm. So, like, heroes like Tide can catch, you know, if Bounty Hunter tracks you, he knows where you're going and stuff like that. So you can tell that EG, they don't want to fight, because they're pretty much on the opposite side of the map right now. And they do have vision on the side of Newbee, so they saw at least a little bit of their movement. And they know what's going on. They're just actively choosing to not fight because they realize that at this stage, the 5 versus 5 is just not going to favor them. It did at some point in the early game, maybe like 20 minutes ago. But now, after losing, you know, fight after fight after fight, Newbee are just so far ahead that you can't topple them that way. You have to go about it by either split push or, you know, try to delay the game, I guess, and wait for a mistake.
Looking at the build of RTs, you know, he's picked up the Maelstrom. Do you think he's just going to go for the Maelstrom and then get the Aghanims next? Because, you know, he realizes he is going to have to clean out these stronger waves.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. His inventory is kind of running out of room, though, which is a little bit problematic. I think Drow, out of all the ranged heroes, really wants to have something like a Hurricane Pike, so I don't know if he can get rid of that. And it feels like he just bought that Diffusal Blade, so I'm kind of unsure as to what he's going to get rid of if he wants to go the path of Ags. If he just goes like regular Mjolnir, that's also fine. It obviously adds to wave clear. But typically you think of those two items together with Warlock, that makes it super scary, right? Because then you have Fatal Bombs with the lightning, with the split arrows that can just do an insane amount of damage. But yeah, I'm unsure as to how it's going to go item progression-wise for him for now. I mean, heck, if he gets to those items, I would be surprised. I think that Newbee most likely will win before that point.
Well, let's see if that's going to be the case. We're ready to get the game back on. Everyone's back in. And EG still on the back foot this game. 12-23. Net worth lead is around the 17.5, well, probably around the 17,000 mark at the moment for the side of Newbee. Somehow continuing to level up his dagger. What's level 3 now at the moment, so they've got a fair bit of burst, but of course so does the side of Newbee. And as the push comes in down bottom, 4 seconds, yeah, they're just about to have Ravage available again on KP, so Newbee very much ready for the fights. And we'll see if they come in hard and try and push EG to come back and defend. And they get a bit of pressure on top, and already EG heading back, getting themselves in position to react to the side of Newbee, but again, it's going to be hard. Both teams, all tools available very shortly. Chaotic offering as well, nearly back off cooldown from Zai. Seek looks for the cheeky jump in. Heavy bit of burst onto Samel. It's not going to be enough to nuke him down straight away. And at the moment, it's just the illusion spam coming in with the SD Luna. He's getting the damage down onto the tower. And that looks to be that for the moment for Newbee as they back away. Still a few minutes before we'll see Roshan back up. And Kaka at the moment just pushing out top lane as well. So Newbee just looking to, I guess, just try and gain control and maintain it the whole map and have all those lanes shoved in.
Yeah, that's the best way to play it. It just means that when all the lanes are pushed, you have the least probability of making anything happen without it being noticed. So if all your lanes are outside of your base and you try to smoke, it's like, okay, well, they're all missing, and they're not defending their base, so obviously they're going for some kind of play. It's just the safest and most effective way of keeping your lead is by keeping all the waves pushed in as hard as you can. So that being said, looks like EG are still able to get on the map a little bit. Try to find something, if not just a little bit of farm, but yeah, it's a real rough road. I wonder if not buying BKB on the Drow was a bit of a mistake, because I think that their timing is so mid-game oriented that if you have magic immunity for when your team is the strongest, things like Blink, Ravage, and Eclipse and all this other stuff don't really scare you that much. So I'm kind of wondering if Manta was really the item, or just going Yasha into BKB would have been a better choice. We've seen other heroes that have a similar function to Drow, like TB in the past, do stuff like that, and it's worked out fairly well, but I suppose EG still have a chance here.
Crit's got to be a big... Crit doesn't have a TP.
He did, probably. Oh, wait, never mind. Kaka didn't see him.
Oh, yeah, he's going to hug that fountain for quite a while. I mean, it's going to be quite a while, I feel, before Crit's actually going to be able to get himself back out. Safe.
Well, he knows the creep wave timing, so he might try to walk past when that creep wave is gone. But it's, yeah, it's a bit spooky.
I mean, especially if newbies start to come in hard with a push. They're going to be a man down.
He's just going to walk out.
I'm going to see U9 stick around here on the top lane, though. That's just going to make it that little bit spookier for Crit to get back.
The other thing, too, is since Luna has night vision, he has to be super careful. Because if he even shows in lane, Luna will see you. Because she sees pretty much everything.
Oh, he's fine.
Yeah, he should be fine.
Yeah. Agent Crit is out. The safety bar looks of it.
I mean, the game's kind of slowed down a bit. I still think that probably favors Newbee just because they're the ones who feel safe. And when you feel safe, you're just naturally more effective on the map, getting more farm. Stuff like that. Okay, so it looks like we do have the Aghanims now completed on the Drow. And he got rid of the Helm of the Dominator, actually.
Universe! Oh, he's just going to go immediately for the TP out. They got anything to stop this?
Ooh.
I see he'd already used the arrow, though, as of it was, but maybe getting the vision for a disruption. Yeah, Universe quick with the TP out. This has opened up space. Roshan's up.
I think he would have ravaged that if he saw the Bat Rider, actually. Yeah, because again, it's similar to the last Ravage, where they ravage Sumail, they kill him, they take Roche. It would have been a similar effect. You just kill one hero, you know that they're not going to fight 4v5, you get a free rush. They might get it anyway, though, given the circumstances. I don't think that EG are looking to fight into this, and KP is getting dangerously close to that refresher territory, and when that happens...
Oh, he really is.
Good luck to EG. Good freaking luck.
Surviving a double ravage.
They can't even survive one.
Aegis onto the Luna once more. U9 ready to go. And you said with that Roshan kill, yeah, he is very, very close, KP, to having that double ravage online. And it's going to be a bit of a nightmare for EG. They're still, as we can see, they're doing their best to just get what they can across the map, constantly splitting up. You know, for the most part, recently they have been able to avoid the movements of Newbee. But soon they're going to have to face their demons and force themselves to come together for a full 5-on-5, and that really is going to be the true test.
EG want to avoid that situation as long as they can.
Yeah.
They do not want to 5v5.
Well, there it is.
I've been thinking about like this series as a whole, and it feels to me like the heroes like Batrider, for example, even though he's been banned out and stuff like that, they're much harder to play effectively in these types of scenarios when Void and Tidehunter and Shadow Demon and Oracle are just so prevalent. I mean, yeah, Universe is a great Batrider player, there's no doubt, but I feel like putting him on that hero in this position is like, it's super hard. And I think that EG might be kicking themselves for that pick, because I think a Tidehunter would have been way more effective for the kind of strategy that they wanted to play, which is basically just pressure the map and push as 5. Because if you have a Tide, and there's no initiation on the other team, they can't stop your siege. Like, there's just nothing they can do, but if you have that, there's a lot of room for error. So, we'll have to see.
RTZ's going to try his best. SC jumps in, look for Zai. With the Greaves, he'll be fine. He's got a hood as well, so the burst not too lethal. RTZ forces them back. Pop the Moonlight Shadow and Newbee. Ready to come in again. We've got to watch KP. He's got that double ravage, and of course RTZ still without a BKB. Absolutely vital. They jump in. Artor gets one with the KP! With the Ravage, hits the ball. There we go again. KP with the double Ravage. That's going to be Universe down. He will buy back. Crit, force down. He's going to go out. He does not have buyback. EG coming in hard there with the KO offering. They're trying to turn this one around. SC falling low. The protective disruption from Faith. They need to kill this golem before it kills the Mirana. Mirana's able to get out in time. Newbee survive. They take the racks, they get out, they may not be done. U9 pops the BKB, the Eclipse, he's coming in for the finishing blow. Zai falling down low, he's going to drop. RTZ, he's going to fall as well. GG is called, it's all over. And we're getting ourselves a game 4 in this best of 5 series as the score stands 2-1 for the side of EG in the lead, but Newbee there with that game 3 win. And it's looking pretty scary. We said that Newbee need to step it up, show us what they kind of showed us the other day against EG, and that performance was certainly up there.
Yeah, I think that the Tidehunter was the ultimate turning point. Like, they had 0 BKBs the whole game because their lineup was pretty much built around just ending the game before the Tidehunter really ever became a problem. And that idea on paper is great, except when you don't execute. And I think that EG probably played worse this game than they have the entire series so far. Maybe even like the entire tournament that I've seen, because there were so many individual misplays by pretty much everybody. Like, even going back to the beginning where, you know, Zai accidentally healed himself. I don't know what happened between that game, but something happened, because that was not